belief. And sometimes when we hear the word, belief, it feels kind of touchy-feely, sort of nebulous. Really? Do you believe that you need to believe?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Well, I want to talk about belief in terms of brass tacks. I want to talk about belief in terms of cost and earning. Now, this is a very famous guy, Henry Ford. He transformed the entire 20th century, right? We get around very differently because of Henry Ford. And here's what he said: whether a man believes he can or he can't, he's right. What does he mean by that? Well, belief determines behavior. So, two people put into the same set of circumstances, depending upon what they believe, will act very differently. Right? We'll talk about that a little bit more. Byron talked about this yesterday. Because people don't perform to the level of their ability, do they? They perform to the level of their belief. What is that? Why does it work that way? Well, it works that way simply because human beings are hardwired to seek pleasure and avoid pain. Is that true about you? Of course it is. It's true about me too. So let's say that we've got a goal, and we're going to start out towards that goal. We can just say that our goal is that we want to be successful in range. If we believe that at the end of that path, it's going to be sunny, it's going to be cool, we're going to have a good result, well, that will keep us moving towards the goal, won't it? If on the other hand, perhaps our belief isn't as strong, or maybe we have a nagging little feeling in the back of our brain that, this probably isn't going to work out. Nobody makes any money in network marketing. Those guys that made it, they're different than me. Well, we're going to want to start out. We're going to want to do it. We want to have success, so we'll start moving towards that goal. But we're going to stop ourselves. Why? Anticipation of pain. Anticipation of disappointment. And then, there's very real effort that is required along the way, right? You got to work. People are going to tell you no. There are things you're going to have to spend money to come to conferences like that. Why would you do that? Why would you have a temporary setback and not just quit if you believed that, it wasn't going to work out so well in the end? Our beliefs are really, really, really important. And so it would seem that the greatest barrier, the most significant barrier between us and our own success is what? It's us.
That's right.
It's how we think. It's what we believe. I'm sure that every single person in this room wants to be successful. And right, you're here, right? Here's the problem. People don't get what they want. People get what they believe. Your level of belief is going to manifest itself in significant ways in everything that you do. It can't help it. So let's talk about how do we formulate our beliefs? How do we wind up believing what we believe now about the world, how the world works, our place in it? Well, let's start right here, okay? Did you know that there are no born pessimists? Have you ever watched little children play? They're playing like in a muddy backyard and it's a castle. And a rock and a stick is shiny armor, right? And those little girls are having tea parties without any tea. Their imaginations they're just unlimited. They're on fire. They can be whatever they want to be and they have confidence that they will be that. But what happens? We start getting input. We start living our lives. Significant people in our lives say things, tell us things. Tell us about their values, tell us about us. And this input, we take it in. We choose to believe it, or we don't choose to believe it, but somehow we arrive at believing things about ourselves, right? And it can start limiting us. And unless we're super careful, unless we're very aware, and we choose our beliefs about the world, ourselves, and how it works, our total belief system, what we believe about the world, can just be a hand-me-down from parents, coaches, friends, teammates, clergy. And this is really, really a significant thing. I want to talk to you about something in your brain called your RAS, your reticular activation system. Humans have such a need for consistency, for constancy. There's actually a part of your brain that's in charge of it. And here's how it works. Let's say that somebody told you you were clumsy, and you bought it. Hook, line, and sinker. Yeah, you know what, I am. Your RAS, your reticular activation system, is in charge of keeping you believing that. So what you're going to do is you're going to notice every time you trip, every time you drop a ball, every time you stumble. What you won't notice is every time you bound up the stairs gracefully, every time you catch that ball, you'll discount it, because after all, you're clumsy and you've got proof. So it works kind of like a thermostat. You know how a thermostat works? So if it gets a little too hot in this room, what's going to happen? The air is going to turn on, right? Why? Because somebody went to that thermostat and said, here's where it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be right there. And so it's just going to keep it there. I knew a woman in network marketing. Every year she made $50,000, and that was it. And it didn't matter if she earned it in her second month or in her 12th month. It was like she just kind of backed off and kind of quit. It was like she could never get past $50,000. And it would just bug her. She went into therapy. And you know what she figured out? She figured out that she believed that if she earned more money than her father had ever earned in his life, that he would feel bad. And that stopped her. Every time she made $50,000, it was like, I got to figure out some way to screw this up so I can't make any more because I don't want to make my dad feel bad. It was way back here in the back of her belief system, but it was, can you believe how powerful our beliefs are? How they stop us? Some people, it's called your reticular activation system, your RAS. Some people just need to get their RAS in gear. Oh, that's so bad. I want to tell you a really, really, really dramatic example of this that happened to somebody very close to me in my life. That devastatingly handsome young man on the left there is my Uncle Bob. That's my father's brother. And this singing group was a singing group called the Letterman, which most of you are way too young to remember, but they were ginormously successful in the early 60s and the 70s. They were nominated for 5 Grammys. They sold hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars of albums and were one of the biggest acts in the country and in the world. So the guy in the middle, his name is Jim Pike. All these guys were like my uncles, but Jim I was very close to also. Jim was kind of like the founder of the Letterman. And he was responsible for the arrangements and the harmonies, and he's just a genius. Great guy. Loved Jim. Jim was raised by an abusive father. And when he was a little kid, his father would always tell him, Jim, you ain't nothing. You ain't never going to be anything, And Jim would make him so mad. And he thought, I'll show you, you son of a gun, right? Well, did he? Oh, yeah, he absolutely did. And one day in 1973, Jim Pike woke up and could not speak.
Oh my goodness.
Couldn't make a sound. In order to talk to anybody, he had to push on his diaphragm. And that's what he sounded like. Can you imagine how frightening that would be for somebody whose entire living, whose entire self-concept depends on his voice? What happened? He went to the doctor. He went to several doctors. And they told him, Jim, there's nothing wrong with you. Your vocal cords aren't damaged. Your diaphragm works. We don't know why this is happening. You know how long this went on? For 10 years this went on. He had to leave the group. Well, once again, Jim got into therapy. He was trying to figure out what's going on. And so he finally did, with his conscious mind, he figured out, well, gee, the most significant person in my life told me that I was never going to amount to anything. I did, so I betrayed the most significant person in my life. I had to screw it up. Boy, that RAS was really messed up, right? Well, here's a really cool ending to this story. Jim got called to serve in his church. He got called to a position of leadership in his church. And he thought, oh my gosh, how am I going to do that? I got to stand in front of this pulpit here and say something, or I mean, what am I going to do, hold up signs? But in his mind he thought, well, if God called me to this, I'm sure there's going to be some way that we'll figure out how I can do this. On the Sunday that he was ordained to that position in his church, when those gentlemen took their hands off his head, Jim Pike stood up and shook the hands of those guys, and he could talk to them like I'm talking to you. What happened? Well, Jim had gotten some unreliable input from a pretty unreliable source, his abusive dad, right? But what happened later is that he accepted some way more reliable input from a much more reliable source. And it changed everything. He changed what he believed inside. Do you see how powerful that is? All right, so have some of us been offered some unreliable input? Did you buy it?
Yeah.
What's it costing you? See, because we got to be conscious about what we believe, because we can't create something positive from a negative thing. You can't create a positive from a negative. These are some of the silly stories that we tell ourselves so that we can not try, right? I'm too shy, it's too hard, nobody has any money. And you know, behind any of these, you can put the word anyway. I'm too shy anyway. What does that mean? I don't have to try. Because then I'll just avoid the possibility that I might be a little painful if I fail. So, you know, we gotta dump those. Oh no, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna talk about this. Remember how I said two people in the same set of circumstances can believe two very different things and have very different results? Let's just talk about one of them. Let's talk about I'm too old. Okay, so two guys, same age. One guy just says, you know, I'm just too old to do that. The other guy says, you know what? Because of my age, I have a lot of experience. And I've built up a lot of credibility. People are going to listen to me. Same circumstances, two different sets of beliefs. What do you think the results are going to be for person A versus person B? Very, very different, right? So we got to dump those self-sabotaging beliefs. And I'm going to give you another example from my life to just show you what an erroneous belief can cost you. I'm bothering people. I have two brothers. I'm a lot older than my brothers. I'm 16 years older than one of my brothers, 20 years older than my other brother. Yeah. My mom didn't even want to shake my dad's hand after that. They were silly games. So both of my brothers were in my previous business with me. One brother earned over $1 million in that business. The other brother could not get arrested in that business. And it really, you know, I love my brothers. It made me feel terrible. I went to my brother and I said, look, honey, let me help you. Let me show you, you know, brother and I are making a fortune. Let me show you what to do. I'll help you. And he says, oh, Paul, you know, I just feel like when I talk to people about this that I'm bothering them. Bingo. Right? If you feel like you're bothering somebody when you're talking to them, what do you think they're feeling? Exactly. You get what you give, right? So my other brother felt like he was blessing people's lives when we told him about it, because he knew the kind of money he was making, he knew what it had done for his health, and look what the results were. Same circumstances, different beliefs, entirely different results. So let's get rid of that dumb one too. And when you get rid of your self-sabotaging beliefs, the world changes, okay? It turns into monkey land. So how do we actively create positive beliefs? Well, I can't just tell you stop believing that negative thing, right? That would be like saying, everybody in this room, don't you dare think about a pink elephant. What'd y'all just think of?
Pink elephant.
Right, a pink elephant. Of course, so what you have to do is crowd out those negative beliefs with positive input. And it's so easy these days. You know, on your phone, you can just tap that screen and have access to some of the greatest minds in the world. Put Kindle app on your phone. Download some books. Let me promise you something. If you will spend 15 minutes every morning, just 15 minutes, putting positive input in. You know, Stephen Covey, Anthony Robbins, Napoleon Hill. There's so many great thought leaders, you know, that people that are successful, that you can get into their minds and put good input into your mind and replace some of those perhaps negative beliefs. Spend time with quality people. Spend time with positive people. Spend time with people with whom you would like to trade places. You know, if you're a tennis player and you play with a player who is worse than you, are you ever going to improve?
No.
What if you play with somebody who's a lot better than you? Are you going to improve?
Yes.
Sure. Do you know that if you took a survey of your 5 closest friends and said, how much money do you make, how much money do you make, how much money do you make? And then you did an average of the 5 friends, that inevitably it's pretty much going to be your income? Did you know that's like a principle that really works? So, hey, up your game. Make some new friends. Find, you know, associate with successful people and avoid energy vampires. Okay? These are the people who will be very willing to tell you all the reasons why this is not going to work. You know what happens? It's kind of sad. And a lot of times these are family members. Okay? When you go for something great, when you like announce to the world, I'm going for greatness, I'm going to do this really cool thing, it upsets people. It does. It freaks them out. Because they think, oh my gosh, if Paul does that, and he's successful at that, this is all self-conscious, I'm going to have to measure myself against it. I'm going to feel bad. I'm going to try to keep Paul where he is, so that I don't have to deal with that. Has that ever happened to anybody in this room? Yeah, of course. That's just kind of human nature. It's sad. But look, just know what's happening when it's happening and get out of that situation. Don't allow somebody to steal your belief. Because what can it cost you? $1 million or more. I've given you some examples. This is not nebulous. This isn't floating. This is real. Okay, it's brass tacks. This is something that you can do that sounds a little new agey, but I'll tell you what works. Make a vision board. Has anybody here ever done that? Mm-hmm. You know, write down your goals. Envision them. What's it going to taste like? What's that going to feel like? What will that be like when I'm doing that thing? And just put yourself in that place. It helps to build the belief that at the end of that road is this really cool thing. And it's going to keep me moving towards it. I put my goals on my mirror at home because I love spending time there. I love spending time there, just not naked. I put a note on my fridge, a note on my dashboard of my car, because those are the places where we spend time. Remind yourself what you're doing. It will keep you focused on it. It will build your belief. Also, actively talk to yourself more than you passively listen to yourself. What do I mean by that? Talk to yourself like the champion that you are, instead of listening to yourself like the victim that you've been, or that you suppose you will be. It changes things. Now, our daily actions can really change our beliefs. Why? Because it changes us. Remember how yesterday Byron said, you know, we don't really grow the business. We grow our people, and they grow the business. It's who you become in the process that's going to change your results. So what do I mean by that? Well, most people live in a comfort zone. So we go kind of around the edges of our comfort zone. Why do people stay in a comfort zone? Seeking pleasure, avoiding pain, right? So as you get kind of to the outside edge of that comfort zone, what starts to happen? You're like, oh boy, I don't know, this feels a little uncomfortable. So you kind of come to a moment of truth, and you've got 2 choices. You can either move forward in power, or you can draw back in fear. But here's the thing. Nothing epic, nothing great was ever accomplished in an easy chair in a comfort zone. It just doesn't happen, right? If you stay outside the comfort zone, well, if you stay out there long enough, doing some things that perhaps were uncomfortable to you, you know what happens? The comfort zone grows to encompass that activity that you were doing. And now it's in your comfort zone. You guys probably won't believe this, but my biggest fear in life 15 years ago, before I got into network marketing, and you can talk to Derek Wingle and he will tell you about this, was public speaking. Do you know that the number one fear of everybody is public speaking? You know what the number two fear is? Death. So most people would rather be in the box than giving the eulogy. That's right. Well, let me tell you, having to stay outside of that comfort zone for me has now made this one of my most comfortable places on earth. I love doing this. And I'm super comfortable up here. But that wasn't the case at first. Ask Derek, I'll tell you. Okay, so staying outside the comfort zone allows you to pick up some new skills, to improve, to have greater belief, and to get new confidence, right? All right, so how do you stay outside the comfort zone? I'm going to ask you to just believe one thing and it will keep you outside the comfort zone. And that is that there's no such thing as failure. Now that, sometimes people say that and go, oh yes there is, because I've experienced it. And I know there's failure and I hate it, right? But failure, the thing that we call failure, the thing that the world calls failure, is only feedback. We've been taught that failure is like death. People think that success is over here and failure is over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move away from failure towards success. But it doesn't work that way. Failure and success are both that way, and you've got to get through failure in order to get to success. So if you're not succeeding fast enough, it's because you're not willing to fail often enough, fast enough. You've got to fail in order to succeed. Who plays the guitar here? Anybody play the guitar? Casey play the guitar? Were you great at the guitar from day one? Probably not. Probably sounded like dying cats when you first picked it up, right? But that guitar can sound like, you can play symphonic music on a guitar. Because you're willing to get through the time when you sounded just beastly, right? And it's the same thing with anything. You have to be willing to fail. But consider feedback. I have Thomas Edison out there, another great from the 20th century, right? The only reason we're sitting in this room with electric lights is because of him. He changed how the world works. But did you know that he tried 10,000 times to find the right filament, and they would burn out? 10,000 times. And reporters, when he was finally successful, asked him, Mr. Edison, how did it feel to fail 10,000 times? He says, I didn't fail 10,000 times. I discovered 10,000 ways it didn't work. Until I discovered the way that it did.
That's amazing.
Do you see how just that difference in perception allowed him? I gotta tell you, I think I might have been discouraged after 1,000. Right? But it allowed him, he had such belief that he was going to have a good result that he got through what others would perceive as pain. He got through it to get to the good result because of what he believed about it. So here's how you stay in this loop of staying outside the comfort zone. You're going to act. You're going to do something. A result is going to happen. Then you're going to analyze that result. You're going to say, now let's see. What did I do well? What could I improve on? Why did this happen? Why did that happen? Etc. And then you're going to adjust for the next time you act. And then you're going to act again. Successful people understand this loop. And I'm looking at a room full of successful people. So just understand, no such thing as failure, only feedback, and I can improve within this loop. Okay, so what do we have to believe in to be successful in reign besides ourselves? Of course, we got to believe in the product, right? We have some great products. So I'm going to say a really trite phrase in network marketing. You need to be a product of the product. Why do phrases become trite? Because they're true. And everybody says them. If we make a product, you should never be buying a similar product from anybody else but yourself. Because if you use the products, you have an experience with them, it builds your belief, you have a story to tell, and people feel how genuine you are about that. Beyond our own personal experience, we got absolute proof that the products work because they've been tested independently by Brunswick Labs. We know they reduce inflammation. We know they increase the body's ability to fight aging. We know they increase immunity. We know they're antioxidant. These are things that, like if somebody says to me, oh, well, I took it, I didn't feel much difference. I said, well, I can tell you some things that were absolutely happening in your body, whether or not you felt it. You can show them these physical things, these physical tests. So do you know about those numbers? If you don't know the numbers, if you don't know that regular Sol reduces inflammation at the cellular level by 33%, you ought to. If you don't know that Sol Red reduces inflammation at the cellular level by nearly 80%, you need to know that. So get those assays, the Brunswick assays, they're in your back office, and memorize them. It's only a few numbers. That will build your belief. Testimonials. Who's a member of our Facebook group? Seed-Based Health. Gosh, I love going there. It just blows my mind reading those testimonials. Doctor surveys. Now yesterday, Dr. Cook, and I'm sure she'll talk a little bit more about this today, but she shared with us that doctors in the International Seed Nutrition Society are actually using our products in protocols with patients and tracking the results. And we are getting those results. And we know that they're fantastic. So in the real world, doctors are using our products for great results. We have 17 patents on these products. Can you get a patent if something isn't unique? No. So what does that mean to you for your opportunity? It means it's protected. We've got covenant certifications. BSCG, do you know? Here's the deal, and this shows the company's courage. It shows the company's courage going to Brunswick and going to the Advanced Substance Control Group. When they do the testing on the products, they're going to publish whatever they find. If it's bad, they're publishing it. If it's good, they're publishing it. So did the company have some real confidence to send the products to those organizations to get certified? Yeah. The Banned Substance Control Group is over what athletes can consume. They work with the World Anti-Doping Association. All right, so that's the products. What about network marketing in general? Do you have a belief level in network marketing in general? Let me give you some facts that can help you. There are 116 million people in the world that participate in direct sales. That's a lot of people. Did you know that in 2017, which is the last year we have the data for, direct sales did $189.6 billion in sales. And that's up from just a few years before, it was like 156 or something. So is network marketing growing? Yes. Would it continue to grow if it didn't work? I don't think so. Do you know that the categories that we're in, wellness, are our products in the wellness category? That's the largest category in network marketing. It's responsible for 34% of that $189.6 billion. We in the right category? I say so. Do you know what the second largest category is? Personal care. Do we have some personal care products? Yes. Yeah, we do. So between those two categories, 66% of the sales of network marketing come from the kinds of products that we sell. That's pretty cool. 66% of that $189.6 billion. So, know those things about network marketing. Understand what a great opportunity it is, that people can get into a network marketing business for very little money and have an international business that can earn them millions of dollars. Now, I just said something that sounds pretty bombastic. You can have an international business. You can make millions of dollars. Do you believe that? Do you believe that?
Yes.
Good, because I have. And so can you. And I am not special. I'm just a guy, if you know my background, I used to be a designer, I used to be a singer. So I'm a guy who can sing songs and hang drapes. Okay? I sometimes feel like Forrest Gump. I just keep backing into things that work. But I just never believed that I couldn't do it. And when I joined my first network marketing company, in my mind, I thought, this is not negotiable. I'm doing this. So lead, follower, get the freak out of my way because I'm doing this. And I wouldn't say that to people, but it's what I believed inside. And when you talk to somebody, about your opportunity, and you have that kind of a confidence and that kind of a posture, what you believe inside your heart affects how they receive it. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So understand those things about network marketing and become a student of the industry. When I first got involved, I went to Sound Concepts. One of my friends owns that company. Are you guys familiar with Sound Concepts? They sell a lot of training books on network marketing, and they provide collateral for a lot of network marketing companies. And I said, JJ, load me up. I want you to give me every training from every company. I don't care what company. I just kept reading what other people were teaching their people about network marketing. And you know what I learned? Everybody does the same thing. It's the same success principles, and we've been teaching that from the stage. So just learn the system, and then guide your belief. But become a student of the industry, and then, I'm preaching to the choir here, but attend every event that you can, especially these larger events. Why? Like I said yesterday, some people are in the business, but when you come to events like this, the business gets into you. Your belief goes to a different place. And I'm certain that there are people in this room thinking, I wish Betty was here. I wish Tom was here. I wish this member of my team was here. Why?
All of you.
Because you understand how important this is now. So, what's happening in October? How many people are you going to have here?
Vegas.
Because I will tell you, the amount of people that you have here is going to determine your success for the 6 months after that. Do you believe that?
Yes.
Believe it. Okay. So attend every event. Associate with and learn from people that are successful. Success leaves clues. All I did when I first got into network marketing was watch people who were already successful at it. And I observed what they did, and I just tried to imitate them. Do the same thing. So here's the thing. This is another belief that you really need to take in. If they can do it, I can do it. Right? Are there people in this company that are making the kind of money that you want to make? Yeah, there are. Well, if they can do it, you can do it. I promise you that. Are people advancing to significant ranks in this company? Diamond, gold, platinum, pearl, sapphire? Yeah, you bet they are. You see it on Facebook all the time. Well, if they can do it, I promise you, you can do it. Right now, what I'd like to do is bring up a member of my team. Can you turn this on? Check, check. Okay, good. So Janet, to me, some of you have met Janet. Janet to me is just a ball of energy. And she, to me, exemplifies somebody who believes, and it affects the way that she's able to build her business. So I'd just like you to talk a little bit, for a few minutes, about how belief has affected your ability to build.
Well, thank you. It's such a pleasure to be invited to be a part of your presentation. I love it. This is amazing. When you see my pictures, I have some energy. And I don't think I had this energy 20 years ago. Maybe I'm extra healthier than I was. Maybe I'm happier than I was. There's no maybe in it. This product is really, really amazing. But how do I stay motivated and focused? Well, I learned many moons ago in our other business that there's 4 things that you need to have unwavering faith in order to become bulletproof. And you've covered them all nicely. But of course, it's belief in the industry, which Paul has covered amazingly well. And the only thing I'll add to that has really helped me is that I did join the ANMP and became a current carrying member, and I attended one of their conferences.
Can you tell me what ANMP
ANP is the Association of Network Marketing Professionals. It's phenomenal because when you join, you have access to all of their webinars. There's nothing wrong with information. And you get to see all the leaders in all the companies, and you realize that this is an amazing industry. And I do watch Eric Ward on Facebook, and you can tap into any of the leaders on Facebook and follow them, and you just get an overview of what everybody's doing in the industry. It's amazing. So I have belief in this industry. I believe everything about this is amazing. Belief in the company. You need to be This company is by far the most amazing opportunity that ever landed in the hands of mere mortals. And you second that, right? And all you have to do is plug in to the events such as this, plug into the webinars, the Zoom meetings, go into your site, Tsunami Events, and go in and look at all of the recorded videos. I live in your site. I mean, it's just amazing. And you will see the people of integrity, like Byron, oh God, and all of these executives. They are transparent, they're kind, they're people of vision, people of amazing morals. And this is the kind of people that you want to hang with. So you'll get your belief if you go in and look at any of the webinars and see the personalities of these amazing people. The other belief that you have to have is in the product. You covered that amazingly well. Well, I believe in the product, trust me, because I have 6 grandkids, and I love having the energy to be the fun man, the one that likes to do all sorts of fun things and walk the beaches and do crazy things. And my husband and I love to bicycle and swim, and we're very, very active. And I garden a couple of acres. I have like 15 perennial beds. I'm crazy. Anyway, I don't have any trouble getting my 25,000 steps on my Fitbit every day. So I really love feeling this good at 65, almost 66. And everybody deserves this. So I have unwavering faith in this product. It is the best thing that I've landed in my life, bar none. And the other belief is to have belief in yourself, that you can do it. And we all get hit, right, by the no's, the negativity. You know, we did cover that, and I will too. Oh, it's amazing. We get bombarded by negativity in the world. I plug into motivational books, as you suggested, that we should all do. I am particularly in love with Jim Rohn and Robin Sharma. Just amazing. 12 Pillars by Jim Rohn. Highly recommend it. You can't go wrong with it. And of course, Greatness Guide 1 and 2. That one is just amazing. That would be Robin Sharma. I did meet him a few years ago, and she is just a phenomenal human being. Tut.com. It's a motivational site. You get messages from the universe. How good is that? The universe speaks to you 5 days a week and tells you how remarkable a human you are. Everybody deserves that. Write down tut.com. Seriously. It's TUT.com. Yeah, Mike Dooley. It's amazing. I love following positive, on-the-go people, and I love quotes, and it just fell into my lap recently to partner with Deborah Minchell. And we put together Seeds of Positive Energy. And you should like that page and give us some love. It's really good. We've been doing our best to share what we've learned that's kept us positive. So we have all 4 elements that we need to work on, I believe. And once you have covered your belief in the company, the industry, the product, and yourself, you become bulletproof. And when you become bulletproof, these objections don't really matter to you. And you use the SW as someone, so what, someone's waiting. And there are people waiting because we know we're changing lives. We have a lot more to change. This company is going to go into critical mass growth. It's going to go into momentum. And the people that are here in this room, you need to get your people on board now because this is going to explode globally. So I hope that's helped a little bit.
Take that into your heart, take it into your mind. If you don't believe in yourself, if you don't believe in this company, if you don't believe in this product and self-recognition, how can you ask anybody else? It's kind of critical. that you do that. You know, Napoleon Hill said, whatever a man can conceive and believe, he can achieve. So conceive it, believe it, and for Pete's sake, go out and make it rain.